This is VOA News. I'm David Byrd. Iran is denying that its missiles shot down a Ukrainian airliner, killing all 176 people on board. That comes after the U.S. joined other nations in blaming Tehran for that deadly crash. AP's Sagar Meghani has more.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says it's likely an Iranian missile brought down the plane. He's the highest-level American official directly blaming Iran, a day after Canadian, Australian, and British leaders did the same, while noting it appears to have been unintentional. Pompeo says an investigation will continue.
It's important that we get to the bottom of it.
And he's confident the U.S. and world will take appropriate action as a response. His Ukrainian counterparts urging caution as the probe goes on.
We will come to our conclusions. We don't want to come to them right now.
Iran denies any missiles hit the plane. Sagar Meghani at the White House.
The wife of the pilot of the Ukrainian jetliner that crashed in Iran says she urged her husband not to fly that night. We get more from AP's Jackie Quinn.
With escalating tensions in the region between the U.S. and Iran, widow Katerina Gapanenko tells Sky News she urged her husband to cancel his shift, but he said if he didn't fly the plane, who would? Ukraine's foreign minister says the pilots were on a proper course.
There was nothing to indicate that this flight endangered.
Across the globe, there's mourning for all 176 victims, more than 60 from Canada, including a dentist in Halifax whose husband spoke on CTV.
This tragedy was very, very hard for all passenger family.
I'm Jackie Quinn.
For more on these stories, be sure to log on to our website, voanews.com. You can also follow us on the VOA mobile app. This is VOA News. The U.S. placed more sanctions on Iran Friday in response to its missile attack on U.S. military troops in Iraq last week. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin said at a White House news conference the new sanctions target Iran's construction, manufacturing, mining, and textile industries.
The president has been very clear. We will continue to apply economic sanctions until Iran stops its terrorist activities and commit that it will never have nuclear weapons.
The Trump administration believes the sanctions will force Tehran to negotiate a new nuclear agreement, downsize its missile development program, and end its support of militias in the Middle East. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the House will move to send articles of impeachment to the Senate next week. The Speaker said in a letter Friday she had instructed House Judiciary Committee Chairman Gerald Nadler to be ready to send the charges to the Senate. Sending articles to the Senate and picking House impeachment managers are the next steps needed for a trial. Pelosi said senators will have a choice while considering the charges: be loyal to President Donald Trump or to the Constitution. The Speaker has been in a showdown with Senate GOP leader Mitch McConnell, who's been rebuffing Democrat bids for new witnesses and more documents at the trial. A Russian Navy ship aggressively approached a U.S. Navy destroyer in the North Arabian Sea on Thursday, according to the U.S. Navy's Bahrain-based Fifth Fleet. But as Reuters correspondent Gavino Garai reports, Russia denied it, saying the U.S. Navy vessel had crossed the Russian ship's path.
Video from the U.S. Navy captured 5 internationally recognized horn blasts, signaling danger of a collision. The U.S. destroyer requested that the Russian ship alter its course in accordance with international maritime standards, and ultimately the Russian ship did comply. But Moscow on Friday denied that one of its Navy vessels had come dangerously close. Russia's Ministry of Defense said in a statement that the U.S. Navy vessel had crossed the Russian ship's path in an action it deemed, quote, unprofessional time security norms.
That's Reuters' Gavino Garai. The U.S. Labor Department says that job growth slowed in December, with employers adding a relatively modest 145,000 jobs. With consumer spending appearing to spur gains in retail and hospitality, the unemployment rate. News, be sure to visit our website, voanews.com. I'm David Byrd, VOA News.